Most people who've studied any society, whether small, remote, far away, or nearby, complex like our own, know that all ordinary people are worried about tomorrow, about what comes next, about the next year, the next season, the next rains, the next crop, the next child. In our contemporary lives, we are surrounded by some kind of statistical idea of what's going to come next. And that's a product of the steady growth of numerical thinking, statistical thinking, which then in turn shapes ideas of uncertainty and certainty in the future, and enter into fields like insurance, which are entirely about applying statistical reasoning to the unknowns of the future. And you might say we are surrounded by technologies and methods and protocols for taking raw uncertainty and turning it into ideas of probability, of likelihood, which can be measured and therefore managed and handled and controlled. And if we think of our contemporary lives, both here in the West as well as really worldwide now, that kind of numerical idea of what comes next has a very big role in how we conduct our lives, and risk in one or other way, whether it's in insurance or it's in credit and borrowing, or whether it's in disease and who is likely to get unwell or stay well, or in questions of security, safety, terror. What's the likelihood of a terrible event? How do we protect against that? Occupies a tremendous amount of our lives, and that apparatus and those protocols are very much not in the hands of ordinary people. They are in the hands of large corporations, companies, governments, experts, states, things that leave us, if you like, objects of probabilistic machineries. The contrast that I make is with the ethics of possibility, which for me is a word that opens up a range of things which include the imagination, aspiration, utopia, the good life, all of which are things also about the future, but which are somehow qualitative, which are not about the numerical likelihood of this or that happening, but simply about visions and images of what is desirable and what is good. You might say we are surrounded by designed objects, we live in designed objects, we eat designed objects, we breathe designed objects, we drink designed objects. And as the exhibition that we are all involved in makes evident, that fact of the saturation of our lives by designed objects or objects of design now characterizes human life at every scale, from prosthetic devices that transform and extend what we mean by the body or the self, to very large scale objects that traverse the universe, or look at the whole galaxy, or examine vast distances, or conversely deal with nano-realities, things that are invisible to us because of their smallness, not because of their largeness. So designed objects surround us, and all of them have a proleptic or anticipatory quality. They're never there just for the now. So they have a future built in. And the other thing is, when you think of the objects that surround us, they are today not only products of design, but again, as this exhibition makes clear, the newest objects, the objects that seem most pregnant with the future, are objects that have an even more specialized relationship to the future, because they are built to anticipate future conditions, including conditions which might cause them to fail. I think never before in human history has the reality or the concern with potential failure and the effort to preempt it and anticipate it in everything we use, including our handheld devices and all our other instruments and machines, never has it been so much a part of design. And the anticipation of the future and of potential failure of the use of the object in the future in some ways almost supersedes its utility in the here and now. It's really about what will happen next when the object is faced with this or that scenario or circumstance. How do we make it resilient? And this is a very different logic than the simple logic of, say, quality assurance or testing. It's really something where not only the future, but the possibility of breakdown, failure, or disappointment in the future is maximally wired into the object in the present.